Begin by finding a quiet, comfortable space where you can be fully present with yourself. Settle into an easy, relaxed position. Whether that's seated or lying down, it doesn't really matter. Whatever works for you is best. And once you feel nice and settled, pick a spot on the wall or the ceiling in front of you, and just a little bit above your gaze. And you don't need to focus too hard, but just hold that spot for a second. And as I count down from 5 all the way to 1, you'll just slowly feel your eyes beginning to close, bit by bit. Starting with 5, just beginning to feel the weight of your eyelids. 4, allowing the eyelids to sink a little deeper. 3, starting to see your vision fade. 2, your eyes beginning to flutter closed, feeling the weight. And 1, allow them to close completely. And feel the muscles of your eyes relax. Feel your face soften. Unclench and drop your jaw. And embrace this shift in awareness from the external to the internal. This moment where we stop looking out and we start looking in. And you can take a nice deep inhale through your nose, filling all the way up through your chest and your belly, holding for a moment at the top. And then exhaling, just letting the air fall back out. Nice and easy. There's no need to force anything here. And you can continue to breathe at your own natural pace from here on out. There's no specific way or depth that's right. It's whatever works best for you. Whatever feels easy and natural. Smooth out any sharp edges of the inhale or exhale. And as you do, begin to feel your body softening, surrendering into the surface beneath you. Enjoy this moment of calm. Feel the gentle beating of your heart. Notice the blood pulsing through your body. The heart is not a thinking space. It's a space of knowing. It is your core, the center of yourself, the guru within you. And the purpose of that guru isn't to tell you the way. Its purpose is to shine light on what is already known. So allow that light to shine here and now. And visualize that light illuminating a lush, serene forest. You're standing at the edge of it, taking a deep breath in, smelling the fresh, earthly scent of trees. And here, you spot a path. A narrow, winding path that leads into the heart of the forest. And you begin to follow it. You can feel your senses come alive as you take each step deeper into the forest. There's nothing here to distract you. No phones, no notifications, no people, no cars, no planes. With every step, you feel the soft ground beneath you. Sometimes it's grassy. Sometimes it's mossy. Sometimes it's dirt. Sometimes there's a big flat rock that you step on. And as you walk down the path, across all of these different types of ground, you feel the difference on your feet. This change in sensation seems to pull you into each and every step. You're moving out of your mind and in to your body. You feel the cool, refreshing air on your skin. You see the sunlight filtering through the canopy of trees, casting here and there a warm golden light on the forest floor. You notice the complex dance between light and shadow, between silence and sound. You notice all of the different trees around you, and you realize that though they may be of the same type or species, every tree is different. The leaves are a different shade of green. The trunk is a different size, a slightly different hue. And from each tree, you hear different things. A distant call of a bird, the whisper of the wind through the leaves, the gentle rustle of twigs and branches on the ground. And now, having walked some ways, how far you're not quite sure, but it doesn't really matter. And coming here, you're beginning to see a space in the forest where there's a brighter patch of light. It sparks your curiosity, so you begin to follow it. And you see that the trees begin to clear. You feel the density of the forest lessen. And you notice just off in the distance the babble and rush of a river. A few steps more, you catch your first glimpse, seeing boulders and rocks and stones surrounding the river's edge, beginning to uncover how the water moves gracefully, weaving its way through all of the earth's obstacles. You see the magical way that the sunlight reflects off the ripples of the water. How the sun warms the rocks and illuminates the shallow sections of the river. As you move closer, you see a large, wide, flat rock bordering the river. And you decide that might be a nice place to go visit. So you wander on over at a leisurely pace, in no rush at all. And you step onto that big boulder, feeling the warm, smooth edges of the rock on your feet. You find a nice, curved spot in it to take a seat, or even lie all the way down. And as your skin touches the rock, you feel a transfer of warmth. As tree branches wave overhead, casting a moving shadow that somehow manages to keep your body at the perfect temperature. Warm, but cool and refreshed. Up above, a hawk flies by, soaring with its wide, valiant wings, effortlessly weaving its way through that invisible wave in the sky. Slowly, the hawk begins to come around, descends in your direction. There's something about this hawk that's different. And it's not in the way that it looks. It's not in its colors or the way it flies. It's not in the sounds that it makes either. There's something about its presence, about its energy. It sees you, and you see it. You both know you're looking at each other. Yet neither of you are bothered by the other's presence. You're not threatened. You're not worried. You're curious. And as this hawk glides closer and closer, it ends up landing on a branch just nearby. It turns its head around, observing its surroundings for just a moment. And then it hops to the end of the branch and looks right at you. There's a moment of connection, of acknowledgement, of realizing each other's place in the world. The power, the strength, the intelligence in each of you two beings. And without speaking a word, you ask the hawk directly, what is it that I need to know right now? What do you know that I need to know? And in the same way you communicated to the hawk, without words, the hawk responds to you. And I don't know whether you're surprised or not by what the hawk tells you. But the information it shares, you know you needed to hear. And once the hawk finishes communicating whatever it needed to tell you, it nods its head as if to acknowledge you and salute you. And then it leaps from the branch, flaps its wings, and takes flight back into the sky, silently soaring away. You take a moment here just to absorb the information you received, the moment you just experienced. And once you feel that you have fully appreciated the message you just received, you slowly stand, climb off the boulder, and move closer to the river. You kneel down and place your hands into the water. You feel the energy of the river. It's constant, everlasting, natural. And in the ripples formed around your fingers, you see your own reflection. And in this moment, you recognize that the wisdom of the hawk and the endless natural energy of the river are simply manifestations of the wisdom and the energy that lie within you. You are each made of the very same elements. They are you. And you are them. And having acknowledged this idea, you know that the reason you came into this forest has been completed. You feel deep inside that you've learned everything you needed to learn for now. So you stand up, turn away from the river, walk off the rock, and back onto that path which you followed here. And as you walk along that path, feeling the changes between grass and moss, dirt and rocks underneath your feet, you reflect on how this forest has changed you. And yet, at the same time, hasn't changed you at all. It simply made you realize something about yourself that you hadn't before. Or maybe you had realized it, but you'd forgotten. And as you reach the edge of the forest, you take one moment to thank this forest and everything in it for what it's taught you. Knowing that you can always come back and learn something more. Because this forest has infinite knowledge. After all, it is simply a reflection of the infinite knowledge within you. And as you take your last steps towards the edge of the forest, you know that you can be completely comfortable in who you are, completely accepting of your own unique path in life. Completely forgiving for the missteps that you may have taken along the way. Because by looking around in the forest, you see that there's no perfect tree. None of them are perfectly straight. In fact, most are all twisted and bent around. But that is the wisdom of the forest. Because being twisted and bent around is what has allowed each tree here to survive, to thrive, to live in its own unique way. So take one final breath, inhaling the fresh, healing air of the forest. Hold, and then exhale and release. And whenever you're ready, you can turn and exit the forest, beginning the walk back and the metaphorical return to the here and now. And of course, you can feel free to remain here in a meditative state for as long as you'd like. But if you're going to return to your day from here, then with no rush or urgency, you can allow your eyes to open and begin to reorient yourself to the external world. And whenever you choose to move on from this experience, I hope you carry this connection to the highest knowing self within you, because it's always there. All you have to do is look in.